You are the vice principal of a degree college. So the first stakeholder is you, and what is your work? You are the vice principal of a degree college in one of the middle class towns. Principal has recently retired and the management is looking for his replacement. There are also feelers that the management may promote you as the principal. So there is one golden opportunity making you to go to the principal end. So what they are doing you, they are teasing you that you will become a principal. That is the thing that you have to understand. There are also feelings that management may promote you as a principal. In the meantime, during annual examination, the flying squad, which came from the university, caught two students red-handed involving unfair means. So flying squad from the university. This is another stakeholder. They have caught whom? Your students. The third stakeholder is students. Now, whenever you are heading, there are two students who are caught, and there are other students also. Student community becomes altogether the stakeholder here. Because if someone is doing wrong in the student community, if you are not rectifying the students' behavior, it is going to impact other students. Hence, if someone does wrong in a college or someone does wrong in schools, you have to take immediate action so that it doesn't become a norm in your college or in your school. A senior lecturer of the college was personally helping the students in act. Uh, Wow, this is the thing. So now see, you are vice principal, students' welfare is your welfare. Senior lecturer is doing some nonsense. Some students has learned them nonsense, and there is your principal chance to become. You can become the principal. This is what they have said so far. A senior lecturer of the college was personally helping the students in this act. So the moment you study students and you are the principal, what topic you have to remember? You have to remember the role of family, society, and educational institutions in imparting values to the values, right? So that is what you have to remember. So syllabus points, you have to link it. Now, a senior lecturer of the college was personally helping the students in this act. This senior lecturer also happens to be close to the management. One of the students was a son of local politician who was responsible in getting college affiliated to the present reputed university. Okay, so this fellow is having some internal links. The second student was the son of local businessman who donated maximum funds for running the college. In short, they are telling that the students who you caught are belonging to a family who are playing substantial role in the maintaining of this college. You immediately informed the management regarding this unfortunate incident. So you have, as a vice principal, you have informed immediately this to the management. Now, what the management said? The management told you to resolve the issue with the flying squad at any cost. Resolve this with the flying squad at any cost. What does this mean? Go and tease your flying squads. They further said that such incidents will not only tarnish the image of the college but also the politician and the business are very important for personalities for the functioning of the college. You were also given the hint that your further promotion to the principal depends upon your capability of resolving this issue with the flying squad. Kalana Batko, new principal అవుతావు అని చెప్తుండు. In the meantime, you were intimated by your administrative officer that certain members of the student unions are protesting outside. Now this comes. Protesting outside the college against the senior lecturer and the students involved in this case and demanding for strict and failure. Now I said, the moment you remember this, I have already given you some cases where you have to link it. So what is the case you can link it? You are placed in a situation where you will be having a career growth. This is what I said. What is your career growth? You can become a principal here if you are going to do some nonsense work. What is that nonsense work? Go and please the flying squads at any cost to ensure that they leave this to students. So this is the thing. At the same time, your management is also supporting in this worst cause. So management wants you to do this and they are appeasing you. The next thing is there is one more group who are fighting for their rights, the other students. In this scenario, what you are going to do, because these two students happen to be from politicians and local administration, how you are going to solve this problem. So first thing that you have to remember is what are the topics that it is related to in the syllabus. As I said, go back to the syllabus. So this is what you can work because subject sensitive words has to come. So if you look at this, again, dimensions of ethics, duty-based ethics versus rights-based ethics. Whether you are going with your duty or for your rights. Your duty says you have to fulfill your duty. right, at any cost. Your conscience says go and complain or take stringent action on these fellows. But on the other side, there is some private interest which is making us to become rich. So ethics in private and public life is present here. What is your private life, career versus public relationship means the values. So this is first thing that you can use. The second thing you can use specific word is here. Third one is this one. I just said no, role of family. Fourth one is attitude making, thinking, behavior, actions. So you have to build the attitude of students who are doing something wrong. So this is something that you can use. And then it is also going to test your persuasion skills and influence skills, how you are going to pursue the people who are doing strike. So you can use this term also. It is going to test your persuasion skills. This is another term. Next one is, it is testing some key traits of a teacher. A teacher has to be integral, he has to be impartial, he has to be non-partisan to anyone. A teacher has to have objectivity, dedication to his teaching service. A teacher should have empathy. A student should have compassion towards weaker sections. Now, don't consider these two students who are part as weaker sections. They have done wrong. As a teacher, you should show these things. Otherwise, you will not be fit for that teacher post. Emotional intelligence. So you can use these words also. Emotional intelligence, yes, you should know, you should have that emotions, how to balance the management as well as the student fraternity. Next, so these are the things more or less that you have. So now look at this. Go back to the case and how you can link. So whenever you are writing, you should have these words ready and you should use these words again and again in the answer writing. So discuss the ethical issues involved in the case. I said what are the ethical issues? As a teacher, whether should I look for my personal benefit or look at the students' fraternity? The second thing is the role of teachers is one of the most important thing in ethical values. If the teachers does wrong, what is the point of students or how it is going to have? So integrity is at test. So whatever the topics that I said, everything is going to be tested. Ethical issues here are, it is going to test the integrity of the student community, integrity of the teachers community, impartiality, objectivity in decision making, how courageous you are to take or to give up your personal rights or your personal career. So all these things are the ethical issues involved. Discuss the ethical issues. So list out them and discuss. They are saying discuss means you have to write something about each and every ethical issue which is involved. They didn't say list out. They are asking you to discuss. So list and discuss. Critically examine the options. So more or less you are writing the options here. What are the options that are available to you guys? So the first option is listen to the management. Make these fellows flying squads. Appease the flying squads and get the work done. Take stringent action, whatever the cost it may be. You are not going to leave this incident because it is going to hit the largest community. So critically examine the options that are available to you and why. So how our friends have written, let us look. A vice principal of the degree college have witnessed the unfair practice committed by their two students who in turn caught by the flying squad. These two students are the children of a politician and businessman who have vested interest in the management. No need to write who their children belong to a family who has vested interest, because try to reduce the size. Don't write the same thing. Precise writing is that. In short, how you can express. Management of the college, vice principal would be promoted to the police vested of the college. Vice principal will be promoted. Now look, again you are bringing back the vice principal concept. You should have written here, the vice principal of a degree college has witnessed unfair means who in turn caught a flying squad. This vice principal has the opportunity to become principal if he is going to resolve one issue which has arisen amicably. The situation has been aggravated when the students union demanded the strict action on this. So more or less good, but don't write too much. Precise writing is expressing a big paragraph in a simple words, in simple sentences, as it should not be more than say some 30 words or 40 words. If you are writing more, time is going to get killed. So reduce it to the most precise aspect as much as you can. Stakeholders, vice principal, management, politician, businessman, two students, flying squad, senior lecture, students union. Now in this case, it is very peculiar, guys. See, now they are asking your emotional intelligence. What is the guarantee that they have said politician and businessman? What is the guarantee that these politicians and businessmen wants their children to grow at any cost? If they are giving something for the management means, the presumption can be in two ways. They may be fully committed to do social service and they want the society to grow. Even if their children do wrong, it is the duty of the teachers to rectify it. Maybe that might be the thing of the politician and the businessman. Why to think always in a negative context that if the students or if their children are targeted at the school because of some rational means, what is the guarantee that these fellows will not support us? So always don't come to that conclusion. That is the reason they didn't say that politician and businessmen won't support if their students are not going to get good marks or if their students are going to face something. Maybe these politicians and businessmen, so they are testing our brain. So don't presume that always these fellows are bad by looking at our films. So they might be good and they wanted to take strict action on the students, on their students itself, on their children itself. So the principal or vice principal can resolve this by discussing with the politicians and businessmen, saying that, look sir, your children has done something wrong and I have as a process of rectification, I am solving this in the most sincere way. Maybe they will get attracted to you and they can give more funding also. There is every opportunity. Through this you can solve the problem. So what is the ethical dilemmas? So stakeholders, they ask, what are the ethical dilemmas? Now look, you have listed out, they have asked you to discuss. This is the difference. They asked you to discuss the ethical dilemmas in the case. What they have asked? Discuss the ethical issues. Okay. Discuss the ethical issues. Now they asked ethical issues, you have written ethical dilemmas. This is wrong. Whatever they ask, you have to write. Ethical issues in the case or dilemmas are different, issues are different. So this is not the thing that you have to write. Ethical issues are list out and explain. Discuss. Professional ethics versus private pursuit, mass interests versus elite interest. Wow, excellent use of word. Abiding by the rules versus fringe benefits. Abide by the rules. Again, you are repeating the first and third one. This is repetitive, right? So don't repeat like this. They asked ethical issues. List out from the syllabus concepts directly. Now look, what is the thing that you have to understand? They asked some question and these people have written some other answer. Ethical dilemmas. Who asked you to write about ethical dilemmas? They asked ethical issues. So read the question properly and you are listing it down. They asked you to discuss. So read the critical words. So understand it properly. What are the options available? Rusticating the students and taking strict action against senior officers involved in this case. The fulfilling interests of the students. No, rusticating. So 3 Idiots film. Huh? Look, I said whenever you are taking an action, don't go to the extreme means like rusticating the students. First thing is, yes, leave it to the flying squads or request the flying squads not to take strict action, very strict action, right? So try to reduce the try to reduce the punishment that is being given by the flying squads to the minimum level. Maybe like giving warning to the students or like making them disqualified or debarred from the exam for this year. That is completely fine. But rusticating means not involving them to come back to the college. You don't take this. Let the flying squad decide what they wanted to do. If the flying squad is taking stringent actions, request the flying squad that the student's life will be spoiled. Please reduce the punishment. At least that you can do, because to do mistakes is a common mistake. So try to do it. So leave it to the flying squad. You don't rusticate the students. Leave it to the flying squads. You should not be as a head. You should not rusticate them immediately. So after doing some wrongs, the last option has to be rusticating. So discuss with the flying squads. If the flying squads is given highest punishment, try to commute the punishments to a lower form of punishment. Yes, the students has to learn. As a result, they can ask them to be debarred for 1 year, but not more than that. That is the minimum thing that you want, because you are spoiling the life of the 2 children. In an innocence way, they might have done it, but don't do it. The students are taking strict action against senior officers involved. Now, yes, as far as this fellow is considered, you have to take strict action on this. Why? You have to send a sincere message to the office or to your colleagues as a vice principal. Though you are very dear and dear to the so-called management, this cannot be done. So you can take stringent action on the senior officer. But as far as the students are considered, this is your duty to reduce or commute the form of punishment. of the students union. Now what are the pros and cons? Upholding the rules, protecting the interests of the students union, setting up the good. So now look, you have written general answers. This is what I said. Use subject specificity. What you can write? It is the responsibility of the teachers to correct the parents because ethics is being inculcated by the so-called school. It is going to show impartiality of the teachers, non-partisanship of the teachers, the stand taken by the teachers. That things you have to write. Upholding the rules, protecting the interests of the students unions. Students union, leave it, students. So you are writing, but the answer is generalistic. Make subject specific. Subject specific means you have to use the terms. Facing severe threats from influential parents. Who said? Now this is a wrong thing. Maybe we can face it, but this is not the thing, because influential parents doesn't mean that they should always go in a negative way. What if you know that they are positive parents, even though they are rich, they don't want their children to commit any mistake. They want their children to be with highest values. Who knows that these are already giving contribution, might be they may be very good. So what you have to do is may. You are presuming that. So whenever you presume, maybe you have to write that. Supporting the students who are involved in the unfair practice and giving them incentives to the flying squad and resolving the issue. Excelling in the professional life, not excelling. Already you are disturbing the professional life, right? Getting the chance to become principal and growing in the career, not excelling. Excelling means showing professional ethics. You are not excelling there. Already your life is spoiled in a professional life if you do this. So getting petty gains, you can write that getting some petty gains like going for principal. What if you become principal and tomorrow if the parents are coming to know that you have tried this means, obviously they can take the decision. Creating a room for influential politics. No, don't write these things. What are the cons? Non-partiality. Sorry, impartiality is not lacking or partiality is shown. Right? Partisanship is shown. Lack of spirit of activity. Lack of leadership qualities. So you have to write ethical issues. Don't write common answer. Use specific answers. That is what I wanted you. Debarring the students for a certain period of a time accompanied by fines, taking strict action against the senior lecturer involved by the suspension. Very good. Excellent. Prevailing the interests of the students. Don't write students union, students. Write two or more things. Don't write only one pro, one con. Write two or more things related to the topic. Difficulty to getting the promotion. The third option would show. Third option, don't write like this. I would go with the option of, don't write third option because examiner will not look at your third option again. Go back. So I will go with the action. You try to repeat the same thing here and then that will be good. So what are the things that you have to learn from here is, the first one is understanding the question properly. Everyone, understanding question properly. What they asked, whether they asked ethical issues or ethical dilemmas. You have written something, so it is like rather than going to Secunderabad, you are going to some place called Deccan. Ethical dilemmas. So idadiyara first question need ga chadavalanduku. Don't miss the question. Ethical issues, ethical dilemmas. They asked this, you have written this. No one asked this. So obviously your examiner will not consider this. You are asked to go in this direction. You are writing something else. So which means you are not cautious enough. So understand the question properly. The second thing is subject specific words are not used here. You are writing, but subject specificity is not there. So write, when you are writing pros, when you are writing cons, write that subject specific words. Integrity is lacking or integrity is there. Partisanship is, non-partisanship is shown, objectivity is shown, courage is shown. These are the subject specific words. And you have to write some quotations like say for example, family is the first teacher, or school is a place where children learn the ethical values. You can write something like that and make the answer more substantiatively. So subject specific words are completely missing from the topic. So you have to inculcate this. So third one is, whenever you are writing pros and cons, don't write one pro and one con. Write more than one pro or one con. That will be more than good. So this is the thing that you have to maintain. The fourth thing is, don't write like I will go with the third option, I will go with the fourth option. I will consider the most appropriate option of the third. That is, you have to explain what you have written there. Right? I will go with the third option. That is, you have to write and you have to explain. That is the way in which to write this. So what are the things that you have to learn? Everyone has to learn whenever you are writing these type of things. This is the thing that I wanted to tell you. Case study involves linking it That is the reason they have given. Look at the syllabus, case studies and above issues. They are clearly asking, UPSC is clearly asking you how you can link the above issues of the entire syllabus with this case. Now look, you have written, but you are not linking it with the theory part. Otherwise, this can be discussed or this can be written even when an 8th class student, right? If they ask you, if I say this to an 8th standard student, they will write the same thing, right? More or less, sir, naku adundi, chance idundi. Even if you discuss with your parents, ma, what is the options that you have, they will tell. But the question here is, how you are linking it with the above topic. This is most important. So don't forget subject sensitive words. If you are, this makes you to be in the subject specificity. This is very, very important. Please don't lack it. So in order to improve this, what you can do this exercise. Take the syllabus, keep before you, keep the question before you, try to know what are the syllabus aspects and try to write them in the answers. If you practice this like this for 3 or 4 days, your answer will be very good. It will be rich with substance. Your thought process is very good. From this paper, I can say your thought process is really good. But what it is lacking is to get marks. How you'll get highest marks? This is the way. Otherwise, you'll get medium marks. That is completely sure. Above medium, somewhere around 60%. If you want to go to 80%, these are the things that you have to have. So this is the thing, guys. So today, what you do is, in the case studies, again, write in the similar way. Don't write more than one. Please follow my strategy. What I said, only one. Write one. Don't show over enthusiasm. Over enthusiasm should be shown. Go in a systematic manner. Whatever I say, do it. One day, one case study, do it, more than enough. Restrict to previous year questions, more than enough. Right? Over enthusiasm will be good, but if you are sustaining it over a period of time. But if you are not sustaining, one day we will write 2 or 3, next day we don't write. Chinnagi chesina kuda be consistent. So what is your work, guys, today? Today your work is continue writing the case study again in the format that I said. I asked you, today I clearly explained you what you have to do whenever you are writing case study. Maintain the unruled papers, that is what UPSC will give, write in that. Don't write everything, not more than 15 minutes should be given, or 20 minutes. Now say 20 minutes you have to give, and use subject sensitive words. Subject sensitive words. How? Link the question with your syllabus. Syllabus paper mundar pettukondi. Keep the syllabus paper before you and try to answer. Again I am saying, follow my strategy, you are going to get it. Syllabus paper. Now there will be some confident people who says, I know the syllabus, I will write. Even if you know, please try to do it. This is going to add. And then write one case study a day. This is your work today. Don't miss the subject specific words. These are the things. Next one. As far as essay, let's look at essay. Body of the essay today. I'll complete this. Already I have said what the body should contain. The body should contain three things. One is you are arguing the statement, yes, and you have to write some 6 paragraphs. No, 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs, and again saying yes, 2 paragraphs. So this is means you are completing the cycle of the essay. In every paragraph, what you should write, you should say the statement, what you are speaking about, give some substantiations or examples, reiterate the statement. This is what you should have. And the next thing that I said is every paragraph should start with interconnecting words. This is the thing that I said. And before that, what I said, in order to get a good body, what you have to think, you have to start thinking about various dimensions. How the thinking will come. First thing is take the topic and know whether you are targeting yes or no in that. So whether you are saying yes or no. Again, take the keywords that you are finding in the essay and write the so-called synonyms for keywords. Right? Synonyms for keywords you have to write. Now, how to think about synonyms? Think it in the individual perspective, family perspective, community perspective, nation perspective, and the world perspective. That is the thing that you have to think. Then you are going to get. Let me quickly look at one essay which was sent by our students. Just because you have a choice, it does not mean that any of them has to be right. I don't know how much time it was taken. Please write at least 4 like this every day. 4 like this every day. 15 minutes into 4, 60 minutes. Just because you have a choice, it doesn't mean that any of them has to be right. Now look at this. My stand is 60% or 70% incorrect. So what they are saying, just you have a choice, it does not mean that any of them has to be right. So what this person is telling is, Sir, I am going with this. Just because you have a choice, 60% or 70% of the cases, that choice may be correct. 60% and 40 or 30% of the statements, that choice can be not correct. So this is what the stance that she is taking, right? In favor of the statement, that is 40%. Individual, so choices. No, look, this is the best way. Individual, social, national, and then three things she has written. In the individual perspective, she has taken two terms. Poor people. Say there are poor people. So whenever you are thinking about, don't use poor people, look at vulnerable people. That will be the correct term. Vulnerable sections. Stealing or starving to death. So what she is telling, you have two choices. That is stealing or starving to death. So maybe she might be thinking that vulnerable people, if they are pushed to the extreme level, if they do not have food, then they might die or they might steal, which is the best option. So since you have two choices, that does not mean that any of them has to be right. So what she is telling is neither of the statements has to be right here. Absolutely correct. She is correct. Why? If you are feeling starvation, these vulnerable sections, no need to steal, no need to starve. Go and ask someone to help them, right? Say your problem directly and then solve it. So none of them can be correct. Neither of them can be correct. That is what the question. Good. Employees, personal interest versus organizational interest. So neither of the statements, that any of the statement has to be right. Personal interest, organizational interest. Now what she is telling is, for an employee, whenever you are thinking about personal interest or organizational interest, if there are two choices, whether to go for personal interest or organizational interest, it doesn't mean that none of them are correct. So she wanted to write it. Once she writes it, we can understand what is the stand that she is taking, because personal interest and organizational interest. So what she is telling, maybe she might be telling that don't go with personal interest or organizational interest, go with some other means like conscience, or look at the situation and act. So the answer is looking at the situation in the answering. Society, intercaste religion and marriage, honor killing, social exclusion. Both the options are not good, correct? Materialism versus spiritualism. Crony capitalism can provoke fundamentalism. So neither of them are correct in the society. Okay. So go in the middle path. At the national level, public servant. Social welfare versus environmental ethics. What I am not understanding is how they will be contradictory. This is what I am not able to answer. See, just because you have a choice, now you have a choice here, that doesn't mean that neither of the statements, any of them has to be correct. So here one statement can be correct, right? Or two statements can be correct. So this cannot be fitting into your definition of in favor of the statement. So that is the thing. Unless you write this, I cannot say exactly what you are meaning. Faced an attack, retaliate, don't do anything. Yes, none of them are correct. Why? This choice is there, this choice is there, but the better way is don't fight on the roads, go to the courts. So this is the better option. So this is correct, this is correct, this is correct, but I'm not able to get this and this, how you are fitting this. Now, against the statement. So she has written against the statement. None of the statements, though you have choices. Choices can be two bad choices. If the choices are too bad, neither of them are correct. If the choices are good and bad, one choice is correct. If the choices are both are correct, then both choices are correct. So in short, what they are asking, try to understand this question. Just because you have a choice, it does not mean that any of them has to be right. In short, what UPSC is telling is, choices can be of three things. Choices can be of three things. One is, choice can be between two bad things. There is one movie, Kajal and Amir Khan. Two bad things. Choice can be two bad things. That is, killing a person if you leave that person, it is going to have doctrine of double effect. He is a terrorist. So in that movie, I don't remember the movie name, Amir Khan was a terrorist. He marries, saying that he's a common man with Kajal. But by the end of the movie, Kajal thinks that, or Kajal comes to know that he is a terrorist and he is going to plant some bombs. Now she has two options. What are the two options? Whether to kill him or become this one. So there are two bad things here. So one bad thing can be correct. So what the question is, so choices can be two things. Either you can take two bad choices, you can have one bad choice, one good choice, you can have two good choices. See, if there are two bad choices, neither of them can be correct. Okay, this is okay. What does this mean? Either going to a movie with your friends or going to entertainment with your friends when you have exams. You have this choice whether to go here and here. Both are bad choices. Neither of them can be correct. One bad choice, one good choice. Go with the friends to movie and copy in the exam. One bad choice is study. So this is good choice. So this is one thing. One of them can be correct. Two good choices. Study and write. Both are good choices. Right? So these things. So choices are of three types that you have to understand. So when you are with two bad choices, neither of them can be correct. When you have two good choices, both of them can be correct. If you have one bad choice, one good choice, one can be correct. So this is the statement. So UPSC is asking the same thing. Look at the question once again. Just because you have a choice, it does not mean that anyone has to be correct. That you have a choice, it does not mean that anything has to be correct. Now look, just you have a choice, it doesn't mean that anyone has to be correct. They are saying about this. Yes, to 40% it might be correct, but you have another option also. Best you have two choices, both can be correct. One choice can be correct. So 30% here, 30% can here, you can also write. So 60%. So she is good when she has written that yes, the statement is correct to 40%, but the statement is incorrect to 60%. Because whenever you are taking examples here, you will take example of one good choice, one bad choice. You take good examples of two good choices. So the way in which this person has thought is absolutely correct. You have understood the context. So 60 to 70% is incorrect, which means she understood the question perfectly. So UPSC is asking this statement and you have to write these things. And the examples that she has taken is absolutely good because she has compared two bad things and said that two bad things may not be correct. But in some circumstances, there will be one good choice, one bad choice. In some circumstances, there will be two good choices. So you have to take these examples and you have to write. Individual, crime versus humanity, honest versus corrupt. So now look, this is what I said. She's comparing one good value with what bad value. Humanity, crime, apathy versus empathy, honest versus corrupt, using others as means, following the doctrine of not using others as means, adultery versus loyalty, good. So she is comparing one good value with one bad value. Absolutely, that is what the question is. Good. At the societal level, orthodox versus modernism, discrimination versus equal treatment, communal tensions. So again, she is comparing this at the national level. She has compared with one good value and other bad value. So criminalization of politics versus clean politics, expensive democracy versus nepotism. So what does she mean? On this frame, I am going to link the, or I am going to build up the answers. Consultative policy formation versus arbitrary policy formation. Examples, you can write demonetization versus something like the budgeting processes, war versus peace, sovereignty versus subjugation, revenge versus conciliation. So she has written, but now look, she has written one good versus one bad here. Two bad she has explained at front. Now she has forgotten one more thing, good versus good. There is one more case here. So you have restricted your answer only to this. What? Two bad choices, you have given examples. One bad choice, one good choice. But you have neglected this. Two good choices. In that case, both are correct. Right? You have to write that also. This is called critical analysis. Thus, just like two coins can reveal have the same side. Similarly, two options may have same outcome. So she is writing something. So she's writing to justify that whatever she has written in this quotation, that is completely fine. So what you have to understand from this? Absolutely, I really appreciate this person because you have understood what is the content and you have given some good examples. But the choices, now over reading and reading again that question, you will come to know to this point. UPSC is just asking three things. In any scenario, a person will be placed in three places, whether I have to choose between one good and one bad, whether I have two bad things in choice, whether I have two good things. So in these three scenarios, what you have to take? So your body should have three things. The first thing is you go ahead with the 60%, 70% incorrect or correct things. Yes, in some circumstances this is correct. But in the majority of the cases, this is not correct because always human beings will be faced with two good choices, or they might be also facing with one good choice and one bad choice. In this, one choice can be correct. So you have to substantiate. Though this person has written, but she has stigmatized or she has not given justification to one thing, that is the third aspect. This makes our answer incomplete. This makes our ethics essay writing incomplete. You will be writing body by saying this, but you have to write this one also, then that will be a complete expression. So what are the positives in this answer writing? Understanding the question. Very difficult to understand the question, and I give 100 marks for understanding that question because I understood from your writing that you have understood the question. But the thing is, you missed one aspect. The second thing is taking examples. Take clear examples like you have taken, but make sure that you are not contradicting your points. For example, here, whatever the examples that you have taken in two bad things, social welfare versus environmental ethics. These are two good choices. So two good choices. You cannot say that neither of them are correct here. So this is the third case that you have to make it. So this falls under the third case, two good choices. Third one is you have written a similar manner. Personal interest versus organizational interest. This might fall in the second option or in the third option, not in the first category. What do I mean by first category? Two bad choices. Second category, one good choice, one bad choice. That is the way. So appreciate the way in which you have thought. I know how you are going to build the body on this. I got it. But you have written only one. So what I request you is, those who ever have written this, so write at least 4 like this every day, 15 minutes, not more than 15 minutes. The way in which you have written is beautiful. Try to write. If you are not able to write 4, at least write 3, so that each 20 minutes you can finish it. Right? This is the thing, guys. So what you do is, today it's already time up. What you do is just do what I have said. Case study, improve in the way in which I have said, and similarly do 3 things for ethic essay. Take previous year questions. Don't take your own questions. That is what I mean to say. Don't take your own questions. Take your own questions. Take previous year questions and write. Take previous year questions and write, and do the work that I said. Don't do extra. Don't do less. Right? This is what I mean to say. One more person has sent one thing who has asked me to explain this. Let me quickly go through this case. So they have asked, a library is a hospital for the mind. So he or she is unable to get this. So what this person is telling is, sir, I am unable to get this. What is library? Library is a place of books. What does books mean? The synonyms of books are knowledge, having clarity. Books will give clarity. Having varied resources to solve our problems means suggestions can be there. So these things you can think about. Library. Hospital means a place to get cured. There will be so many problems in the society, you can cure them. Mind means not only the mind. If it is an individual, it is mind. If it is a family, there are problems in the family. So mind is peace. Nation means progress of the citizens. So these are the things, and try to link them. Right? So you have to think in this way. Library is a hospital for the mind. He has taken it from some insights. Not important. Let previous year questions and think, but the thinking process is the same. Right? So guys, take previous year questions and do it. It is going to get less than 1 minute. So